Crafty Kendra, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cool Halloween card. This is card number 2 from my Halloween card series. And what we're going to start off with is actually going to start with the rich raspberry piece that we cut with our scallop border punch. Your rich raspberry piece is going to measure 4.5 inches by 1 inch. And the best way to use your border punch is to actually use these grid lines right here and make sure that you have them evenly spaced on both sides. Go ahead and do that. And then punch your first punch. And then bring it down and line up the punch scallops so that you can't see the silver on your punch, and punch again. And then slide in the other side and do it the other direction. Punch, and what doing that does is it makes sure that you get even scallops on either end, so that way you don't have a whole scallop on one side and half a scallop on another. Okay, so since we've gone ahead and done that, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our designer series paper, and this is from the Wicked Fun specialty paper pack. And we're going to use this stripe side, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our classic basic gray ink and our sponge dauber, and we're going to daub. Alright, and when we're done sponging that, we're actually going to go ahead and adhere it to the front of our card, and this card base is basic black, and it measures 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 to make a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 square card, which will fit in your standard size envelope. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take our snail and run a strip of snail down our scallop piece along the straight edge, and then we're going to adhere it to our designer series paper. Now what we're going to do is going to apply adhesive to the back of this and place it on our card, and we're going to place it with the fold at the top, and we're going to place it on the left side of our card. And you want to place it where you leave just a little bit of a black border, because you don't want your scallops to touch the edge, but you want them to be really close. And there you go. Press it down. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to now emboss. Even though we put on this paper, we're going to emboss. Like you can tell on this card, you see the spider web in the background, and that's Stampin' Up's new spiderweb embossing folder. So I'll be right back with the big shot. Alright, I've gone ahead and placed my card inside the embossing folder where I want it, making sure that it doesn't overlap the designer series paper. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place it between our acrylic cutting pads and slide it in our big shot on tab 1, and then crank it through. What you're left with is a beautiful card with this great spiderweb detailing, and then on the inside you still have the spiderweb detailing, and you just have a little line from where the embossing folder left its mark, but it's not visible from the outside of the card. So let's go ahead and move on to the next step. Take our old olive cardstock, which is cut at 3 1/2 inches by 3 inches. We're going to take our dauber again with our basic gray ink, and we're going to sponge the edges. Our next step is to go ahead and stamp the haunted house image from the House of Haunts stamp set. And I've already inked it up in our basic black, and I'm just going to try to center it towards the bottom of this piece of Whisper white paper, which is cut at 3 1/4 by 2 3/4 inch. And then lift it up, and there we go. Not too shabby. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let this dry for a little bit, and we'll come back. Alright, now that I've let this dry a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in here, what we're going to do is we're going to give our haunted house the spooky background and glow. So what you're going to do is take a sponge dauber in your more mustard ink color, and what you're going to do is start from the outside of the circle, that's the moon, and flicking in. And it's okay if you go outside the lines a little bit, it's not going to matter. And by doing this, it's the easiest way to get the circle to stay as consistent as you can. And then when you get towards the middle, you can just daub and move it around. And then for the windows in the house, you're going to go ahead and take your dauber with the more mustard and just tap up and down to get the light glow in the windows. So there we got our house with our windows all aglow. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take your dauber with the basic gray color on it. And you don't need to re-ink this since we have been using it to distress our edges. What you're going to do is you're just going to rub it over the tombstones so you give the tombstones a nice gray look. But not have it so heavy that it blends in to the black. You use our ticket corner punch on the corners. So you're just going to slide it in a punch and get this little ticket. Then you're going to take the dauber and go around the edges. Now what we're going to do is adhere this haunted house to our old olive cardstock, and we're just going to use our regular old snail to do that. Whenever you're done doing that, you're going to grab out your MAC pack, and you won't need this template. You're just going to need the sponge and the cutting mat. Put it down and grab your paper piercer and pierce holes in the center where we did our ticket punch. And then just do that in all 4 corners. Now you're going to take 4 silver brads and place them in those holes that we just pierced. And open them up so that the prongs won't be seen from the front. And then you're going to want to put 5 dimensionals on the back, and I've already removed the backing. What we're going to do is we're going to take that and place it on our card, and we're going to kind of off-center it just a little, show more of the designer series paper. And there you go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the inside. Have a Wicked Halloween, and that's from the Wicked Cool stamp set. And we're going to stamp that in the center of our card. Then we're going to take our basic gray color and again distress the edges. And center it in our card. And that's my tutorial for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and look for the next 2 Halloween cards in my Halloween card series.